Alright, Pox community, what's up? Bombman007 sitting in with another episode of PoxNora Unwrapped. And today I find myself sitting across the table here, or across the internet rather, with a top-end player. Been at the game for a while and certainly knows his runes. And guys, today he's bringing you a budget battle group that anybody can make, new player friendly, very new player friendly, and very competitive. And you can give that thanks to DMRBadguy. What's up, DMR?
Hi. Yeah, kanen are pretty affordable. I mean, there is nothing that you cannot get just by trading because most of them are just common or uncommons. The exotic and the warband you can just buy for gold.
Man, that's really cool to hear, because I think that's one of the stumbling blocks for getting into this game is we just hear about how expensive it is, and you know how you can't compete without high-end runes and things like that. And I think you're going to prove the community wrong, and especially the new guys. If you think you have to have a lot of money invested, I think DMR is really going to show you a way today how you can compete with a budget battle group. And I want to send thanks out to PoxBase.com. Go there for this cool interactive database. I'm using it to present DMR's battle group. It's really nice laid out, and we can't wait for him to develop it more. So thanks to PoxBase for letting us use his website. So DMR, let's jump into your battle group here, man. The first rune up is the Kanen Alpha. He's a big old guy, and you guys can see his abilities right here. Tough. And now explain to us the different types of Kanens. We've got like the little Kanen minions that go around doing the work for the big kanen bosses. Is that right?
Pretty much. There are only three kinds of kanen. There are the pack leaders who actually have the pack leader ability. They're usually bulkier and bigger, and they are all unique. Kanen Alpha is one of them. The little kanen, you can just call them mongrels. They have the pack mentality ability. So basically, when a champion with pack leader attacks a unit, any adjacent pack mentality unit makes a free attack. So it's like the big guy just gives an order to attack, and they all gang up on him. And that's the basis for kanen BGs, pretty much.
Very cool. And well, DMR, why do you think there's not a lot of people playing kanen right now? Is it because they're just not flashy, or do you think people believe that they're not competitive? Why do you think people aren't playing kanen very much right now?
Well, I think it's because, like Thordens, they are very position based, and they are old, so maybe some people are just burned up on them. But you know, I took this BG straight up to rank 1 last expansion. And
wow. Did you say rank 1?
Yeah, rank 1.
Wow.
I was rank 1 for a week with kanen.
There you go. So, hard to beat that. Well, the Kanen Alpha, you can see his abilities listed here. Tough. And like you said, all the pack leaders are going to have the unique ability, which is actually a backlash. That means you can only have one in your entire battle group. But he does have the Unleash ability, which a lot of them do have. And then for the upgrades, DMR, you've gone with Subsume and Boost 1. So why Subsume and Boost over, you know, say Counterattack, Melee, or Tough? Those look like pretty cool upgrades.
Well, Tough 2 is just not all that useful because he has Tough 1 base, and the split SL bonus basically gives him +1 defense for every 10 damage he's about to receive. So, well, Tough could be nice. I think Counterattack Melee is probably I think most people go with Subsume and Counterattack Melee. I don't know how many people run Boost just because Kirgana and the Kanen Crone also have Boost. But I just take Subsume because, you know, his stuff. If people want to champion control him, I don't know, stall him or just debuff him, he's going to heal instead. And you generally want your pack leaders to stay long.
Okay. So, looking for survivability. And Subsume's going to bring that by giving them a small heal if they target him with ability. So, okay, 1 times Kanen Alpha. Your next piece here. Oh boy. All right, still trying to learn the Pox base, guys. Sorry about that. Wrong click. Okay. Next piece up is the kanen Animus. Very,
Mm-hmm.
very cheap unit. He's got Berserker. Comes out with a pile of damage and rend. You have decided to go with the Exertion and Evasive 2 upgrades. So tell us about the kanen Animus.
Well, I was actually running two until recently, but I took one out for my Kanen Howler just because he has Swarm and well, there's constructs and a lot of summons in the meta right now, so he's cool. Anyway, the Animus serves two purposes. First, he's cheap, 51 Nora, so you can double deploy him and another unit if you go second very easily. Most importantly, he has 7 speed and Exertion 2. Some people go with Berserker too, so he's 8 speed, but I just prefer Exertion. I mean, you could even do Berserker and Exertion too, so he can move 10 spaces on his first turn, so making him drawing rune.
Wow.
I just want evasive because what you'll notice as we go through all my checklists, you'll see that I have a lot of dodge, a lot of evasive, and paralytic feedback. So that's just to counter the meta because there's a lot of ranged units that are killers.
Gotcha. So there you go, guys. 1 times kanen Animus, Exertion, and Evasive 2 upgrades for D-Mister. And then you've got the kanen Cultist here. Now, the kanen Cultist is one of the ones, like you mentioned, paralytic feedback. And, alright, so a unit like the Cultist, it kind of fits into that third category because there's no pack mentality or anything associated with this rune D-Mister. So these guys kind of get splashed in some other battle groups. You've decided to go with the Heal Champion 3 and the Designate Scapegoat abilities. Now, why would you pick, you know, say Designate Scapegoat over Motivate? Motivate sounds pretty cool. So do you think that's a mistake that some players make, is by going with, you know, maybe the Motivate when Designate Scapegoat could really, you know, save you from a huge power turn or something?
Well, Motivate is a good ability on Kanen because you generally just outnumber your opponents, but just because you have a war banner and you got 2 boost units, 3 if you want to run the Kanen Crone, and well, you don't really need the +1 damage just from the idol of Kaintaris and the war banner. Designate Scapegoat is nice because you have a lot of champions within the 50 to 60 something Nora range, and you can just designate them as, well, that just the next spell target, and your opponent is gonna be either they're just not gonna use spells because they know you did it, or they will have to sacrifice a lesser spell before they actually want to cast what they wanna.
Sure.
And she's the third kind of Kanen that there is. She's a crone. They are all females, and they all have paralytic feedback either on upgrades or base. So more range hate on those.
You gotta love the range hate. And then Rite of Creation, Telekinetic Thrust. Do you ever really use those, especially the Rite of Creation?
Rite of Creation rarely, but it can be useful because again you got a lot of cheap champions, so if one is near that, you might as well use it if he's just gonna die after he attacks or something. The Trust is actually really handy because if she's engaged by melee, you can just push him away. You can actually just knock back stuff into cliffs, or if you're in a map like the Elemental Plateau, you can just thrust them into the lava.
Nice. So cool deal. 1 times kanen Cultist. And now your first double copy, you've gone with 2 times the kanen Dark Runners. Alright, so now the Dark Runner is one of the newer kanens. I mean, I know kanen as a whole is a couple expansions in now, but they're one of the newer ones that came a little bit in the later expansions. So tell us about the kanen Dark Runner. You have decided to go with Pounce 3 and the Ally UD. So you're counting on Kirgana to kick in your Ally UD if I'm seeing that right. So tell us about the Dark Runner and what kind of role they play for you.
Well, he was a 51 Nora, like the Animus is now, after the mini revamp. He was nerfed after I took Kanen really far into the meta, but he's
Way
still
to go,
good.
D-Mister. Good job, man.
The thanks. The main thing about him is that he's just not straight up good when you compare him to the other Kanens, just in stats. I mean, he only has 40 HP, but let's think about Ally for a second. For starters, you're gonna get plus 10 HP and 1 defense, 2 attack on the Idol of Kaintaris, which we're gonna get to later, and the War Banner. So just for that, he's gonna be 50 HP and
Wow.
11 damage. Then you get the Ally, which is gonna be plus 7 HP, so he's 57, and then plus 2 damage again. So if you take the boost HP into account, that's another plus 6. So he can actually, if you got Kirgana out, reach 63 HP and about 14 to 15 damage, give or take.
Man, that's monstrous, especially when you consider his Nora cost. At just 56.
Oh, and Ally gives Kirgana AP when you deploy him, so if she needs 1 AP, you can just deploy him and that'll help her.
So good deal. All right. So we've got 2 times these guys. So I think we can see now why you have 2 of these guys in your battle group. Then, from the efficiency standpoint. All right. Kanen Howler. The Kanen Howler is 65 Nora. He's got Call to Arms ability, which is going to help lower your Nora to get you some other guys in play. And then he is the only Kanen with the Swarm ability. So if he does manage to get a kill, he can swarm in a Kanen Mongrel for you. You've decided to go with the Deafening Aura and the Escape ability. So Escape's going to help, hopefully, keep him on the board a little bit longer. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you could go for Hunter Giant if you want to counter a specific kind of BG that might be giving you trouble, say Constructs, for instance, because they have the Laser Dog, which is 2x2, the Rudolph Revenge, Stone Colossus, and just really tanky units. But I prefer Deafening Aura because of the way it interacts with Escape. He stealths, then you can just have him lying around and put him in places where you know people are gonna take 5 damage, maybe more, just from trying to find him or just running past him.
Very cool.
And
so
he swarms, so
stealth,
sonic damage too.
Stealth with Deafening Aura is not going to de-stealth him, is what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, because Deafening Aura relies on units moving within 3 spaces of him, and every time they do so, they take 3 sonic damage. They also get distracted too.
Yep. Okay. So look for his Swarmer, the Kanen Howler. He's got 1 of those. All right, 2 times Lasher. So the Lasher. All right, so this little guy, he's 57 Nora, doesn't do a lot of damage. He is, short range at 2 to 4. You've gone with the Sunder and the Dodge, so we know what happens with Sunder. That's automatically going to make him and all of your Kanen more powerful because he's going to strip down that defense. And then the Dodge is just going to give him a little bit of survivability. So why didn't you go with the Rend here? Now I'm a little confused as maybe why you didn't select Rend, because that can really equate to some decent damage. So tell us about the Lasher and why you went with the upgrade you did.
Well, Rend is plus 6 damage over time, so it would make him stronger, but the way I used the Kanen Lasher is just Sunder and Dragging Attack. That's a good combination when you got a lot of units just running around. It's gonna put something closer, and it's -2 defense, so every attack after that is gonna be +2 basically, and that's his entire role. He just pulls units in and he sunders them. I usually just use him to 1-round things, and he's kind of good because he has stab, so even if melee does get close, he has a way to fight back. Dutch is just there because usually I want to keep him alive so he can keep pulling things, and I don't really use them to do all the killing. I have
Okay.
other units for that. He's just a pull unit basically.
Sweet. So you're basically using him. You're having to use him for the dragging attack, but he's not really a beat or anything for you then.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So 2 times Lasher, 2 times Kanen Pillager. This is a little guy. I just love his sprite. I think it's neat holding the 2 torches in his hands. You've gone with the again Sunder and Dodge upgrades on this guy. So you've got 2 units that are almost identical. The other one a little bit of range, but you've gone with the exact same upgrades, Dodge and Sunder. And this little guy is a melee unit. He doesn't look very threatening at 65 Nora with 39 hit points. But let me guess, after you kind of get all your other stuff rolling, this little guy can probably amp up quite a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, every cannon can get up to plus 16 HP just from the 2 relics and boost cannon, which is actually only on 2 units that I run. But there's actually another highlight for him, which is pillage. Every time he captures a font, I gain 10 Nora. So he is kind of there for if I go first and it's a map with a mid font, that means I can send him to the guaranteed font that most maps have. I'm gonna get 10 from that. And since I'm first and he's 7 speed, I am very likely to reach the mid font first. So just by that, he's gonna get me 20 Nora.
Wow.
Also, he has Pilfer, so it's just a nice utility.
So he's your anti-equip and stuff. But so is the pillage? Is that a fairly new change to this room?
Yeah, he was 60 Nora when I was rank 1 with Kanen, but like the Dark Runner, he was nerfed with plus 5 Nora.
Okay. Well, man, if you capture 2 fonts, just like you said, that drops his cost to nothing. I mean,
Pretty much
that makes
45.
that makes him extremely efficient. So, okay. So good insight on the pillager there. You got 2 of those guys, and I guess what your hope is to try to actually grab one of those guys pretty fast.
Yeah, the Kanen early game is actually pretty good because between Pillager, the Kanen Animus, which I'm only running once, but you could run twice just to get 2 9 to 10 speed units, and a Tracker who is 8 speed, you got a really good chance to just rush the opponent early on or grab a font sooner than you should.
Sweet. All right, so the next rune up is the Kanen Slip. Now, boy, when this guy was launched, I mean, he brought the community down, man. I mean, he was the first Manic champ. He was an absolute beast. I mean, I remember I absolutely hated to see this guy touch the board because he could just destroy stuff. And in today's game, there's champs out there that certainly rival his abilities, but you've gone with the Assault and the Thirst for Battle. Thirst for Battle is going to ramp at damage and defense for you, and then Assault, I guess you're going to try to get him on a ranged unit and really latch onto him because if they try to pull away, he's going to do some pretty good damage. So, all right, so tell us about the Kanen Slipped, and is he? Can you keep him alive long enough to get anything out of him?
He's kind of my centerpiece for when I really need heavy melee. I have 2 other rune slots pretty much dedicated to him, and I'm gonna talk about that later, but he's gonna need support just because he has Faithless, and I need to get those runes on him, but pretty much, I don't know if it always worked this way, but when you Manic, now he procs Thirst for Battle too.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if you had to be engaged before he Manicked, so the buff would kick in, but now it does, and as I found out, Assault actually procs Pack Leader. So if a unit, Mongrel you might have is engaged to a ranged unit, and the Slip is engaged too, if the unit tries to move away, you're gonna hit it with Assault, and then any adjacent Mongrels are gonna hit it too.
Ooh, boy, that could be nasty right there then.
Yeah, it can be a death sentence.
And I'm wondering if I think Sock changed some things with the timing of before, and to kind of clarify things that happen at the beginning of a round, at the end of the round, and I do think that Manic kind of went through some of that. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with it now proccing Thirst for Battle. So not real sure, but anyway, one time's Kanen slipped, and let me guess, you'd probably run more of this guy, but he stuck with Unique. Is that right?
Yep. If I could, I'd run too. I'd probably drop. Not sure. I'd probably have to rework the VGA a bit. Possibly drop the Kanen Alpha.
Oh, okay. Well, he is certainly a beast, and we'll see if he can still deliver for you. All right, so here's one that you've already kind of talked about a little bit. The Kanen Tracker. He does have 8 speed, fairly moderate, Nora cost down there at 62. He does have detection 3 or detection rank 2, so that's good. And then the lay trap boulder can actually catch some guys by surprise, a little bit of extra damage. And you've gone with the, all right, let's see here, the damage and the hidden rock upgrade. So, all right, tell us a little bit about the tracker then. Is he just a runner and a font grabber, or do you actually use him for other things?
I've seen people run Mountaineer and Hidden Rock, and I tried that build for a bit, but he just 7 damage is pretty underwhelming. So I dropped Mountaineer and I switched to 3 damage, and I haven't looked back. I mean, 10 damage base, you can get +2 from the relics, and then +2 from Boost Kanen. I'm 14 damage on 2-4 range, 8 speed. On a 62 unit, it's just amazing efficiency. Plus, he can still on 2 very common terrains with hidden vegetation and rock. Actually, every bridge in the game is a rock.
So yeah, and there's a ton of vegetation out there, and this guy more often than not does stay stealth pretty much for the majority of the game. It's just very, very prevalent out there. So stat bonus damage and hidden rock upgrades for 2 of your trackers, and then all right.
One final note for people who want to play Kanen: make sure to leave the traps in strategic font points, like where your opponent is going to try and contest your fonts if it comes down to that, or if he reaches a mid font, just leave it around the middle where melee units start to circle around, or you can just split. If it boils down to it and he's about to die, you can just put a trap in front of you and hope your opponent takes at least some damage from just trying to engage it. Just be smart about the traps. Even if you have to wait around for it, just make sure you make them count.
Very cool. So don't just waste AP is what you're saying.
Well, the trap is 0 AP, but
it is 0. That's right.
It's
Sweet.
just best to think about where you can put them.
Don't waste a cooldown. All right. So 2 times trackers. All right. Your next one up is the Kanen Whirlwind. All right. So here we go. This guy was a shoebox pretty much when he launched. Nobody really ran him, and then he got shoeboxed, buffed, and everybody ran him because he was absolutely insane. And then he got nerfed again, and he's right back in the shoebox. But here you are. You are going to run one. He has unequipable, so he's not going to gain any boons from any equipment out there. So I guess what you're hoping is that he does have multi-attack 3 and Fury. Lost the I can't remember the name of the build it makes their attacks just cost 1 AP. But
Flurry.
Yeah, Flurry. That's what it was. So he's been toned down quite significantly, but is he still a decent piece? I mean, the Fury is obviously, if you get a few licks off of him, I mean, he can ramp up in damage eventually. But have you been able to use this guy fairly successfully then?
Well, I was using 2 when I was rank 1. But that was back when it had Flurry. So what you would do is just run up Kanen Whirlwind, 2 spaces within any unit, Transfusion, make sure another one is within 2 spaces, and do Mark of Kirgana, because Flurry is 1 AP, 1 attacks, the other one gains 1 AP. So you create an infinite AP loop until you kill anything that is within 2 spaces.
Okay, whoa, alright. So wash, rinse, and repeat what you just said.
I was just talking about before he was nerfed with the
Oh,
mini
okay,
revamp.
okay, before he was nerfed. Okay, I got you.
No, wait, he was actually buffed in the mini revamp, which is when he became 56 Nora. He was 61 or something before that. And then there was that Flurry combo. And then they removed Flurry, and now he has multi-attack tree. But recently they removed Pariah from him. So now he only has unequipable, but you can now cast spells or use abilities on him.
Okay. And let's see. Well, all right. So fear and dodge are your upgrades. Why, not assault, constriction, stuff like that? Why did you go with the upgrade you did?
Assault it's nice. I could see myself taking that or constriction, but I just want dodge, so I can really punish range heavy BGs with all my really cheap sub 16 aura units. And fear 2 is in case he has to actually fight melee, he can just use fear and buy some time. And that's it. I just want him to be versatile, just accommodate to any matchup. If I really wanted to do range hate, I would drop fear and just put assault on it. So.
Right. Okay. Wow. Very neat. All right. So 1x Kanen Whirlwind. All right, and then let's see. The only exotic that you have in the battle group is Kirgana, and as you mentioned before, she can be bought with gold. This is kind of like the split hero for SP and SL, especially as far as Kanen go. You have gone with Boost Kanen number 2 and Pack Leader. All right, so Pack Leader. All right, so when she makes an attack on that champion, all the little Mongols around are going to jump in and get on them. And the other 2 upgrades are mainly for your use. She is technically a stitched as well. And those are mainly for the stitched upgrades. So you've gone with the Kanen upgrades. So tell us a little bit about Kirgana. She can just be an outright beast, can't she?
She is no doubt the best Kanen rune. Second one would probably be Slipped or Bloodhell or whatever you base your playstyle around, but she's just beast. I mean, range pack leader means she doesn't have to actually get into the battle like the Alpha, Bloodhowler, or the Slipped, because she can just attack from 6 spaces away while she's boosting. That's kind of key because her attack range is it's actually 5 spaces for boost, but it doesn't matter. She can just attack from 6 spaces away, and any mongrel adjacent to what she just attacked are going to make a free attack too. So
Sure.
You don't need to compromise her like with the melee pack leaders. And then she boosts all your units, and she makes a Dark Runner better. She even has Soul Shift, which means she's gonna get 20% cheaper when she dies. And if I'm not mistaken, just from the Soul Shift, you should get about 18 Nora, I think.
Yes, sir.
When she dies.
She's shielded, and again, you're punishing ranged battle groups with a paralytic feedback. So she's a tough monster to take down. Magic Blast and Life Siphon. So, does Magic Blast work with Life Siphon, or does it have to be just the?
No, it doesn't work with Life Siphon. But what it does work on is Rage Band. If you want to run that, and let's say you attack something, and the Magic Blast hits 2 units, that means she's gonna get +3 damage from the Rage Band, just from the Splash Magic Blast.
Wow, that's incredible. So okay, so there we go, Kirgana, and again, D-Mister has gone with the boost kanen and the pack leader upgrades. Alright, and then the Spark Crones, the last champions in your battle group. You've gone with 2 of these guys. Now they're about a lot more pricier than your other kanens. So, and here you were talking about the Crones a while ago. These guys are Crones. You've gone with the paralytic feedback and the grant electricity R upgrades. Now they can get pretty nasty with Surge Kanen, the ability out there, plus Jolt. So, tell us a little bit about the Spark Crones. Are these one of your main beater pieces here?
I would say they are the Crone. Well, nah. I was gonna say that they're some of the ones I'd deploy as soon as possible, but it's kind of situational. I mean, they are more expensive than the Kanen Cultist, and they are certainly not as strong as Kirgana, or they don't bring as much utility to the field, but their signature ability, Spark Curse, is important because when she comes into play, she just curses everything, and they also get shocked. So she can be anti-stealth, and with Grant Electricity Aura, she is my main Perseverance counter. Well, she doesn't even need that, because if you're playing Barbarians and let's say you put 2 or 3 in their last breath, you can just deploy her and suddenly they are all shocked, so they will die next turn before they actually get to do anything.
Nice.
And they do have paralytic feedback, so they're just nice. Also, because they do have Jolt 1 base and Spark Curse just debuffs anything that is chucked. She's just a nice debuff unit that you can stack with Sunder.
Very sweet. So Grand Electricity R and Paralytic Feedback for the 2 Spark Crones. So we'll keep an eye out for them and see how big of a role they play. So that's your champions, 17 champions, and with the neat utility of the battle group here, you can see all of his average rune cost and stuff down there. So it's an inexpensive dollars and gold rune, as well as inexpensive Nora rune as well, Nora battle group. So very, very cheap rune. So here we go. On to your spells. Your first one is Acid Storm, and I noticed that you run Acid Storm instead of Firestorm. So Firestorm has been for a long time the signature area of effect for Sunderlands, but it looks like D-Mister is some people kind of fading away from that spell and going more with the more valued Acid Storm instead.
Well, I would actually take another AoE before Firestorm, and that is Lightning Storm, because they shock, and since we just talked about the Spark Crown, after you chuck something and she's out, they are actually gonna get debuffed, and that kind of ties in with the main reason why I want Acid Storm. While Firestorm does have a higher damage output, Acid Storm makes targets scoured, and that is -1 defense. If you can stack that with Cursed, which also gives you like -1 or 2 defense, I believe, right, and all the Sunder that I'm running, then you can really just unleash some damage on units when you need to.
Wow, pretty cool. So 1 times Acid Storm, 1 times Draconic Benediction. It's gone through a couple price hikes over the past couple years, but still showing up in just about every Sunderland, especially full faction Sunderland battle groups that I've seen. And here it is in your split. So Draconic Benediction, can it be a game winner?
Absolutely. +2 AP on demand on everything on the board, especially good for Kanen, because they work in a very similar manner to Moga, in that you want to keep deploying more and more and more. So the more champions you have, the more effective this spell is going to be. So it's only natural for me to run it, just because I'm gonna have so many units. And again, with all the Sunder and the Curse debuff, little things like the +2 damage really do stack up, especially with boost and relics that you have.
Sweetness. So there you go, 1 times Draconic Benediction, and then the recently, won't really call it a nerf, we'll call it adjusted spell because I think this spell is still very good. Havoc's Touch gives +3 damage and Essence Capture to any champion, and then if that champion does have a max range of 1, it's going to give an additional +2 damage. So what exactly do you try to stuff Havoc's Touch on, D-Mister? What rune do you typically try to target with this spell?
Well, I talked about it earlier, and in retrospect, there is another target, but mostly the Kanen Slip. Put on the Kanen Slip, that's +5 damage because his max range is just 1. And since he Manics, if you can actually get any normal attack on just about any unit, you're pretty much guaranteed to deal no less than 36 damage because he has 13 damage base. Then you're gonna give him +5. He attacks something, then Manics into it, so that's 36 damage before any defense calculations. And I need to remind you that he has Assault, so any ranged unit that was hit by a Kanen Slip with no Warbanner, or just Idle Kentaurus or Boost, or any other modifier from, say, Fuel Rage. Oh, I forgot to talk about Fuel Rage. Well, I can get into it later. Pretty much any ranged unit that just took that 36 and then just tries to disengage is gonna end up taking a total of 54 damage just from 3 AP.
Sure. Wow.
And he actually made some Nora back from that due to Essence Capture.
Yeah, absolutely. Holy smokes, okay. Well, we'll interrupt your spells here for just a second. We'll go back over here. We'll pull up the Kanen Slip. Alright, so what you're talking about is the Fuel Rage, and it comes from the Unleash ability that's attached to all of the pack leaders. We're looking here at the Kanen Slip, and he's got Unleash and Pack Leader. Alright, so tell us a little bit about the Unleash ability, and then your Mongrels actually have a enhanced version of the Unleashed ability. So tell us exactly how all that works.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. But basically, all the pack leaders have Unleash, which gives Fuel Rage to units within 6 spaces of them. And that's actually found in other units, but what makes it special for the just Kanen Alphas is that Mongrels can just fuel them twice per turn. So that means they are a lot faster than they appear to be. Even if the Alpha is 6 speed, you can just siphon 2 AP from just about every Mongrel that's on the board and 1 from any Crone. So that's all there is to it. They gain 1 AP and +1 damage every time you Fuel Rage them. And that's kind of what makes the Kanen Slip so scary, because it's not just a 7-speed unit. It's a 7-speed unit that actually becomes +2 speed for every Kanen Mongrel you have. So it's really hard to just stay away from them.
Now, well, his Manic is no longer considered a base attack, so I'm assuming that Manic does not proc the pack leader.
No, it does not. Okay. Just Assault did last time I played, which was last expansion. So I'm going to assume it still does.
Cool deal. So there we go. The Unleash, the Fuel Rage, and the pack leader abilities kind of working into that. Can really ramp these guys up, and like D-Mister said, for every 1 AP that a Mongrel or something spends, the Alpha unit gets +1 damage, +1 AP. So I mean, if you had 5 guys share some AP with him, I mean, all of a sudden you're looking at 18 base damage and +5 AP. I mean, that moves that guy just amazingly across the board. Plus the fact that you throw a Havoc's Touch on this guy, I mean, all of a sudden you're looking at just some mighty damage coming at you. So, indeed. Scary stuff.
And just to end the Havoc's Touch thing, I would actually put on Kirgana too, just because, she's ranged, and even if she is only going to get +3 damage, it's worth it.
Very nice. Alright, so Quicken. This is a spell that I've wondered about in Sunderlands. I've seen several guys using this now. Basically, if the targeted champion it basically makes 2 attacks. So you can 3-tap stuff. If you have enough to make 2 attacks, you can cast Quicken. They'll hit twice with their first round, and then you can hit them again, so that you can pull off a triple attack and stuff. Is Quicken really worth the 35 Nora? For what it does?
I would say yes. You might think that, well, why would I spend 35 on Quicken when I can do 60 on Quickening and just make everything attack twice? Well, you don't always have the Nora. Sometimes you actually want to deploy, and that's why 35 is so handy. For my build, I can just deploy a small cannon for something around 15 Nora sometimes and just do the Quicken. And that comes really handy for my heavy hitters like the Sparkrone, which has Surge, the Kanen Slip, Kirgana. Those are the prime targets most of the time, and it's just really efficient. I try to include at least one in every full faction SL or SL split that I ever make.
There you go. 1 times Quickening. And then the one that you did mention, Quickening, it does the exact same thing, except it's a global effect. Every creature under your control is going to be able to gain 2 attacks for the first one, so they hit, and then they're going to immediately follow it up with a second attack. And this one's still a staple in the battle group. You wouldn't leave home without it, would you?
Nope. Same reason to run it as Draconic Benediction. You just got a lot of units on the board, and it gets significantly stronger the more you deploy, so it's just common sense to include it in a kanen BG.
Good stuff. 1 times Quickening. And then a Transfusion. Alright, so Transfusion, it's this spell can be used for a lot of different things. It's certainly got some utility, but it's usually commonly paired with the Forbidden Fruit or something like that. So you don't really have any of that going on in the battle group. So what are you going to try to use Transfusion to do? Maybe just get that Kanen slipped all the way across the board, or what?
Pretty much. I mean, there's actually a trick to that. You are going to mainly just use it to transfer your AP from your cheaper units into the heavy hitters, so they can deal more damage if that is feasible. But if you're going to do that, it's important that you remember to fuel rage twice before you actually transfer the AP, because if you just do Transfusion, you're going to miss out on the +2 damage. And it's going to end up with the same AP, so it's just something to keep in mind.
There you go. And timing is everything. Alright, so on to your relics. Cleansing Emerald, Spot Cleanse. I guess that's about enough said.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. Spot Cleanse.
Spot Cleanse. Alright, Spot Cleanse for everybody.
Worth noting that you could include Purge, but it's kind of more expensive and it cannot really contest fonts, so that's just my preference. I want to go for cheap to keep deploying more.
Sure. Okay. So, alright, 1 times Cleansing Emerald. You've got the Draxar War Banner. And I guess you could have technically gone with the Shattered Peaks War Banner.
That is where most people are wrong. I see a lot of people run the SP War Banner with Kanen, but Kirgana is actually the SLUD hero.
Okay.
So
There
if you
you
want
go.
Kirgana to gain a benefit from a War Banner, you gotta go with SL.
Man, see, that's one of those little subtle things that you may not think of when you're, filling your battle group in, and then bam, a little bit of insight like that, and it's like, oh wow, and then that's one of your primary champs that you have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So sweet. So the SL War Banner, guys, not the Shattered Peaks version. He's got that one, and then 1 times Hive. Man, this thing is just awesome. Great rune. 1 times Hive, ultimate font harasser and contester. Do you have any other special uses for it?
It can be pseudo detection. If I don't have my Kanen trackers, you just leave it right next to the font little globe thingy that is in the center, because it's AoE 4, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So the first space would be the little globe, and then it branches out 3 from there. So it's just gonna distill whatever is in the font, assuming it doesn't have physical immunity or tough 3.
Right, because it would bounce the damage off. Okay. Alright, so 1 times Hive, and then 1 times Idol of Kanen Terrace. Alright, so why did you only go with 1 idol here? You've been talking about this rune, you know, pretty much the entire time. You've made on and off mentions of it. Why only 1 times idol? Why not go with 2 of them?
Well, mostly because the effect does not stack, and for just space reasons. I mean, if I could, I would absolutely fit into. If people watching this can just find a room for it, it's, you know, just for draw consistency, it is absolutely justified if you want to run 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked through Kanen. I didn't realize the effect didn't stack, but okay, so there you go. That's one reason why you run the idol combined with the SL War Banner to get that stacking damage.
Yeah, everything gets +2 damage, +1 defense, and +10 HP. I'd say that's a bargain for 50 Nora.
That's a huge bargain. So
it's pretty much the ST bonus on steroids.
There you go, the ST bonus on crack. So alright, 1 times idol, and then you've got the Thunderhead totem, spot damage, electricity aura, so it's a good finisher as well as a perseverance counter. So anything else for the Thunderhead?
No, it's really just there for what you said, just a perseverance counter and to punish people for lining up.
Light them up, because you're going to light them up. Alright, good stuff. 1 times the Thunderhead, and then, okay, man, so here's an interesting rune. I've seen this used in Moga battle groups, especially because of what it brings to the table. I'm going to go ahead and read this one for folks. It's equipment that you actually put on the opposing champion. So you're going to put it on your enemy's champ. And then when you do that, the opposing champions within 2 spaces of the equipped champion have scramble. So that means every time they attack that guy, all of your other units are going to gain AP. And it also acts as a debuff, -2 defense if the attacking champion is a Kanen, so that goes perfectly in your battle group. So what about the Marker Kirgana? Can that pretty much turn into a 1-round fest of Kanen activity there?
Pretty much. I mean, what Olaf said earlier, just you can stack Scoured, Cursed, Sunder, and plus the Mark of Kirgana, it's another -2 defense while you're attacking. So just all these little 1 and 2 damage thingies, they do stack up. And it's also global AP, which can actually allow you to maybe get a kill that you are not supposed to get naturally at the other side of the map. So on top of being a 1-rounding enabler, it can also help you on the other side of the map where the units aren't fighting, and that's because all units within 2 spaces gain scramble.
Nice. So there you go. 1 times Mark of Kirgana, look for that to be a finisher. And then the Tempest Crown. The target champions are going to gain Life Siphon and Psychic Magnetism, which is an ability that will, if they're hit from range, it draws them 2 spaces closer to that target. And obviously you don't have Volking Rubga on this, so we don't have to worry about the secondary effect. Alright, so Life Siphon. Let me take a guess here of what you might slap that on. And I'm going to go with Kanen Slipped.
Pretty much. That is the only reason I'm running that rune right now. And it's because with Thirst of Battle, and especially if you did Havoc's Touch, I don't know, it's just worth keeping him alive. Sometimes you're going to get vertical pushed or blink, but all you got to do is think about what specific matchup can do to deal with him. Other than that, it's just to keep him alive longer.
Sure, absolutely. And with that kind of damage rolling around, you've almost got a Piranid on your hand.
Yep.
Almost. A pseudo Piranid. Alright, anyway. I'm kind of on a Piranid kick right now. I think those things are... yeah, well, I'm going to go with some... I think they're extremely efficient. We'll leave it at that. But all right. So any final notes on your battle group here, D-Mister? Pretty short, sweet, and simple. A lot of simple runes, fairly easy to get stuff. Nothing really flashy or fancy, but it's going to take some combined effort to win on this, right? I mean, you've really, like you said, this one's going to be about positioning because you've got a lot of weak champs that you have to bring together to keep these things alive. I mean, if you lose a couple pieces on the board, I mean, that can really set this entire battle group back. I mean, even the little chumpy ones, right?
Yeah, it's just make your main focus while you're playing to try and keep your alphas alive, unless you think they're going to die efficiently. There's no need to go out of your way to make them last longer than they should. I think Heal Champion and Tempest Crown should be enough to keep either the alpha or the Kanen Slipped alive. If you run Blood Howler Alpha, he has Life Drinker, so just be careful about the way you place those, and remember that if your crones get taken out, you are going to lose the Idol of King Tyr's buff. So if you think one is going to die, it might be worth to just deploy another so you don't get a -5 HP on everything. It will be pretty much the same as if they had just killed your War Banner.
Got you. So they have to have a crone in play in order to fuel the idol.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Well, D-Mister, that's the battle group. Pox Base, you've done a good job with your database here, and thanks for letting us, be able to show the battle groups in a pretty cool way. D-Mister, thanks for sharing your battle group, and I guess we'll watch you now play a match or two with this battle group. I can't wait to see it, man.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's go to D-Mister's game.
Okay.
All right, guys. So you've seen D-Mister's Kanen battle group. Here we are now in ranked match. To see his Sunderland Shatter Peaks, and he's going against a full faction Underdepths. D-Mister, you're currently ranked 15 limited, and you're going against Methuselah, who's 99. He is level 99. He's only ranked 98 rare, but Methuselah has been around this game for a long time. I don't think he's just been playing a lot of Pox here lately, apparently, because Methuselah is a pretty good player. So looks like he's started out with a Goblin Arsonist, Bach Raider, and you've got a Kanen Cultist. So how does your draw look, and how does this map fit for Kanens?
It's a decent map because I can send a Dark Runner to just ninja that font on his right. But, flyers on this map, they are really good. His Bach Raider is just pretty much going to be at my font in 2 turns, so
wow,
I'm going to lose that font early on.
Man, Methuselah is off to a rocket start. I mean, Goblin Arsonist, Goblin Archer already deployed in his upper font, so he's going to have all of his fonts plus one of yours pretty much nailed down. I mean, wow, that is fast.
Yes.
So does that? What kind of problem does that present for Kanen? I mean, do they have the ability, the sheer ability to come back from that?
Certainly. It doesn't bother me. Bad draws are just part of the game. So the best I can do is try and play around this disadvantage and hope for the best.
All right.
I think I'll be fine.
Okay.
Assuming I don't go into a cliff right now from the Manic, but I think he's going to move 2 spaces towards the Bach Raider, and he's gonna land on ice. So what I was thinking is, if I can draw a Kanen Animus, I can fuel Exertion, fuel rage him twice, and he can move. Let's see, 80p. He can move 12 spaces. Hopefully, I can contest with the relic. But 1 space back.
Okay. Well, still better than the alternative.
Yeah. Especially because I would have ended up within his attack range. What I'm hoping he does is just he didn't.
Wow,
Let's see.
That is
I
so
was hoping he
lightning
would
fast.
fart shot my howler so he would stealth. But now let's see. Ken Slipped is going to get 8 AP. That's from the one he just gained. So 9 from the Fuel Rage the Ken Cultist is about to do, and plus 2 from the Howler.
Wow. So that'll be full AP. And go ahead and tell the community, especially for the guys that aren't necessarily used to seeing Kanen, is you can only have up to your max AP, right? You cannot overcap the AP.
That is not the case, and I will manage to contest that font actually. So
cool deal.
Let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So the slipped right up beside of that big old.
I mean,
block
I could deploy a war banner here, but I'd end up with 56 Nora. So what you want to do in this case is just deploy first my 57 Nora champion, the Lasher, then I get a Nora refund from the
Shattered
SP bonus, and now I have 23. It's something I couldn't have accomplished had I first dropped the banner and then the unit, because the banner doesn't give me a refund.
Very cool, man. Great insight. And already that slipped has just laid a hammering down on that Bach Raider.
Yeah, the Bach Raider is dead next turn. Unless he does like Fading Recollection. But he's going to have to attack the Ken Slip twice. And he does have +1 defense from the Peaks defense, which is the bonus you get from being deployed at an SP deployment zone.
So there's the assault kicking in already, brother. Man, in just 2 fell swifts, that Raider is hurting, running like a dog.
That is what I talked about. You don't mess around with the Kanen Slip.
Don't mess with the slips now, brother. Don't mess with the slips. All right, so that's going to slow that charge down greatly, and already, I mean, you're back looking in pretty decent shape. Obviously, that Raider's got to go because he's going to menace your font, but back to your side now, and you have to be really careful of the positioning with that Manic around those cliffs, man. One wrong move or something like that, and dude, he is going parachuting.
Indeed. So now there's an interesting deploy, Goblin Spellkaiser. So I mean, I got physical damage, I got magical damage, I got sonic damage from the Howler, and I'm about to deploy fire damage too.
Wow. So that's really cool from Kanen then, that they have all these damage types, man. I mean, that really makes that Spellkaiser, and what he's talking about, guys, is the one with Nora, he gains a immunity to the attacker's type for 4 turns, and with D-Mister having all these different attack types, it really negates that ability. I mean, it really does. So there's the new rune, the Hikacian Bloodguard. So he's kind of running a hybrid goblin with some of the newer runes here.
Yes, I think he's just going to try and rush me.
Ah. So the Goblin Spellkaiser takes a move over towards the font, and that slipped. Probably in comes some arrow damage, and he does, but he targets the war banner instead of the slipped himself. Interesting move from Methuselah here. So what's going to be your motto here? What you going to try to do now with the position that he's put you in?
Well, there's 2 things I gotta watch out for. First, the Shrine Rush, which should come first because he's just harassing me on my side font. And I think I'm just going to deploy my Spark Crone to slow him down a bit, figure out what I want to do. I don't need physical damage over there because the Ken Slip is already physical. what I'm hoping I can do is just, let's see, 42 HP. If the Spellkaiser gets close, I can do, let's see, 16 damage as of now from the Spark Round. It's gonna be 15 after he gets rid of my War Banner. So pretty much just try and keep him away.
All right.
Honestly, what I'm trying to set up is just a transfusion turn and hopefully kill the Gloombringer when he's not expecting it, because right now my Kinslip is in there's a good line of champions right there.
Man, that is massive.
I wonder, is that burn 1? Okay, I should survive.
Nope.
Oh well, that's fine. He wasted a 45 Nora spell to kill.
Yeah.
Well, it was my Storm unit though, so that kind of hurts, but something I can live with.
Goblin Gloombringer, man, that's a nasty piece. 15 damage, 4 to 6 range. Wow.
Yeah.
And Leech Vitality. Good gracious, please. With Life Siphon, really? Wow. Man, I haven't paid as much attention to goblins as I probably should have. Good grief. That guy's nasty.
Now, to prevent more surprise skills and to brace for the imminent destruction of my War Banner, I kind of have to do this. Just deploy the idol.
Back here in the back. Okay.
I'm one space away from killing the Arsonist, because then I could just pull with the Kanen Lasher, Sunder with the Pillager, and kill with the Cultist.
Good grief, man. You already had that calculated out that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I could move in with the Pillager, attack once, Sunder, and poke with the Cultist again, but he's just going to sacrifice. So there is no need. I guess I'm just going to stay inside my SP deployment zone and get my spell resistance.
So you're going to kind of leave the Spark Chrome to kind of handle that oncoming threat from the Spellkaiser and from the Black Raider.
Well, the Kinslip is still within range, so what I want to do is just throw him off.
Okay.
Make him think that he's no longer a threat, but I can still magic into it from 12 spaces away.
And that's exactly what's happening, because he's sensing that you are kind of pulled away from that font there, so he thinks that he's going to be fairly safe from this standpoint.
Yeah, what I'm probably going to do is just grant the Kinslip just electricity aura, and I'm gonna make him manic into the Black Raider so it dies.
Gotcha. So again, it looks like your tracker was kind of a decoy for one round in that Arsonist. So is one round of the Arsonist now a pretty good... Well, now he's pulled him back a little bit further.
Yeah, the Arsonist is dead, but I'm just kind of wondering whether the Gloombringer has horrific aura up or not.
Ah. Don't tell me you could kill a Doombringer or a Gloombringer from here. So incoming 2 AP or just one? Just one, okay.
He was he's only 10 speed, so I gotta move in
Oh,
one
okay.
space away rather than two because of the way Manic works against fat units.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
And I won't need to use the Demishore like I thought I would. Still the Arsonist. It's kind of an issue. I can kill it in a couple of ways, but I'd rather not spend Nora.
That is so amazing how you've got that calculated so quickly. I mean, that's just amazing.
First, you want to apply Sunder.
Right. Wow. Very nice. Like a well-oiled machine on that one, bro. So there's
but I'm
2-space Manic. There's the dead Bach Raider.
I'm kind of worried about the Grimlick because I am within AoE 2 on my Cultist and my... Oh, I think I made a mistake because I designated my... There it is. Never mind. He tried to do a Borges, but I designated my Kanen Tracker Scapegoat.
Oh, okay. So where did the Borges go?
It was just eaten up.
Ah, very cool. So if it's a spell like that, it just eats the spell, huh?
Yeah. I also repelled the Goblin Archer because my Pillager has dodge, so he was bound to use 3 attacks just to kill it. He needed one to get rid of dodge, then one to weaken him, and the last one just to finish him. So,
man, that is incredible how you can just think so quickly. It's just amazing.
Well, you gotta get used to it if you want to play Kanen because it's a lot of units to manage. Now, what I'm thinking I'm about to do is I'm wondering if I can kill just the Spell Kaiser, but I can kill it if I do just an Acid Storm in a Transfusion, because then he can get 10 AP from my Spark Rune, which is just useless right now, because he has Vulnerability Electricity. And that's probably what I'm going to do. Just let's see. I want to stay away so the transfusion goes to my Kin Slip.
Okay. So there's the 10 AP transfer.
And Acid Storm. And the physical attack. So it dies.
Now, you just spent
a lot of Nora to kill it.
Right. I was trying to add it up. I think it's 45 plus 30. Is transfusion 30 or 35?
30 Nora.
Okay, so it's 75 Nora to get rid of that guy. But what you do gain is a font and some positioning back.
I'm some Nora up anyway because he just wasted a board, yes. So
true.
I figure I could afford it.
Okay. Very good. So your anti-range is really working for you on this one, man. I mean, forcing him to use extra AP. Now he's got the paralyzed Gloombringer.
Yes. So my next target next turn is probably just to get rid of the Gloombringer because he's paralyzed, meaning he has no way to proc Horrific Aura. And this would be the ideal situation to just get rid of it. What he could do is damage himself and just break away from the paralysis, but I don't think it would be good for him, especially after wasting one Borges. I think he's trying to kill the Kanen Lasher, but it's just not going to happen. I
He just, unless he maybe uses a spell, that might do it. Even with Fire Blast, I don't.
Cave Runner. That's not going to kill it though. He's going to live.
Wow. Oh.
I don't know what he's doing
Oh,
now.
okay.
Oh, drive. So 16. I think he's going to take 11 and then 2 from charge. So I guess I'm just gonna use it to kill Grimlick before he dies.
Good grief. So
Either Grimlick or the Gloombringer.
You've got all that figured out just by looking at it that quick.
Kinda. I'm just guesstimating.
Because I'm trying to figure out where you're coming up with all that damage. I mean, you can't double tap with your Lasher or your Cultist, and the Pillager's kind of out of range. So wow, I'm looking forward to see exactly how you pull this off.
First, I need to pull him in.
Okay. So we got Quickening on the board.
Ooh, that's the wrong side.
He pulled right into the trees.
I thought I would pull him 2 spaces towards the middle of the.
Right
so then,
here. You thought he was going to be almost beside of the Lasher at that stage.
Yeah, so that's kind of a big deal. Because then I could have just moved in with the Cultist and use my Stealthy Tracker to finish him, but well.
So which spell was that? That was Quickening, right?
Quicken.
That was just Quicken.
Yeah.
Okay. So
because I just wanted to move him in 2 spaces, but it turned out that he moved left rather than right.
Well, the good news is he's still got to use some AP to finish off the Lasher. So there he goes. He's getting brave with his Goblin again. He's going to give the Shrine a love tap.
Yeah, he's probably gonna just put me on check for the Shrine because he can attack twice with the Gloombringer. Then he can drive Grimlick and wait. Well, I think he's just. I hope he's not going to move all the way in now because Vergana is out and that would be kind of reckless. One thing that's annoying against UD players is you never know if they are running 1 or 2 boards.
Right. And setting up for another Borgus Blast on that Shrine would be absolutely painful.
Yeah. Especially because Designate Scapegoat is not coming back right away.
So the Slip's finally going to start making his way back to the action. The Crone is still kind of out of action.
Wait, what? Oh,
Demon Shield on Grimlick. Heal Champ 3 on the Cultist, going to keep that thing alive. And
just gonna start killing things. best I can do to recover from that mistake.
Right. So you're not too worried. Well, okay, the paralytic feedback on your crone is going to keep
it alive, hopefully. But
Nope.
you know, gotta stay away from AoE 2.
So that means you have to be more than 4 spaces apart, right? On a lot of your champs.
Well, technically, I left a bunch of them, but okay. So there's the Cape Runner.
You use the Spark Crone as the global static greeting, and bam, there she is.
Yeah, because the tracker is not really reliable right now. Oh.
And again, the spell resistance is nice. Oh, he does have another Borgus, but he's going to use it on champs instead of the shrine here. So I guess you're signed for relief on that.
Yeah. It might mean that I lose a crone or both, though. So that could be devastating itself, depending on what I accomplish next turn.
But at least you'll stay in the game as opposed to your shrine getting blown up.
Yeah, that is a relief.
The problem is, if Methuselah doesn't go for a kill here, I mean, will he have enough to finish off all these things? I mean, if you lost 3 pieces, that could be tough.
He didn't kill the pillager either. I mean, he could walk and drive, and that would kill it. But what was that?
It's killed by the cave runner, actually.
Oh, a firebomb.
So he firebombed it. We must have lost the animation, but I was with you. I wasn't quite sure what happened.
He probably should have. Well,
okay.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh, is that how you say it?
What's this?
Never mind. Let's see.
He ends up only technically killing 1 unit out of all that.
Yeah, a better player would have probably just finished me right there.
That is a pile of damage, man.
Certainly is. Now I'm wondering. Oh, I probably should have moved into boost range first. Let's see.
Nice. So there's the pack mentality with the pack leader kicking in, guys. So that is exactly what he was talking about a minute ago. And now, man, that goblin is taking a beat. And that tracker, man, that sucker really amped up on some damage right now. That's good stuff. And the
well, I totally forgot about that.
So D-Mister with 2 mistakes on.
2 mistakes already. We're off to a good mid game.
The good news is that Gremlin is probably
he's just going
done.
to use Deception, I think. I don't know if it's going to.
Wonder if he'll Retribute or something maybe at this stage. I don't know.
Oh, he shouldn't use Retribution just because the slip is going to go. Okay, so that's a smart move.
We'll see. Oh. And there's the Retribution.
That's what I was going to say. He has spell resistance.
Oh, dude. So only 24 damage. Down goes your Crone.
And he has 7 defense, so he's going to have to compromise more than 1 unit. I don't think even if he moves in with the Cave Runner, he can finish him.
No, Cave Runner's not going to have enough damage. Down to 7 life.
Now, unless he uses a spell now, although most of my predictions have been wrong so far, but well, what was that? Shield Fireball. Okay, so he did use a spell for it.
That is a lot of Nora he's dropped in spell usage, though. I mean, a lot.
Indeed.
But boy, that Gloombringer is nasty.
Not to worry about it. It's just something you one round later.
Okay, so Goblin Archer's off your back. Back comes the Tracker. In comes your Kanen, your Spark Crone. So man, you've really started to get back a lot of your units that wasn't available before. Really piled back into this. And there again is the pack leader, pack mentality combo going on. So there goes a Cave Runner. And you do have an invisible runner floating around there somewhere. But now you've already put, I don't know exactly what you're planning on with the Whirlwind, but is your Horrific Aura, no, that's not Horrific Aura, it's Fear. Will you take your Whirlwind and go ahead and threaten his font, or go ahead and get it up in the face of that Gloombringer?
Well, this turn there's not much left for him to do, so.
Right. Problem is almost a double tap finishes that guy off. We'll see.
He already wasted both his Boreas and Fire Blast and Gremlick, and now he only has one Cave Runner, which is most likely going for my font, so I'm not too worried about that side of the map. For surprise skills anyway.
So another Goblin Arsonist, but
that rune is pretty underrated, the Arsonist. That's because of 16 damage.
Well, that Gloombringer's not. 21 damage, 4 to 6 range, 101 hit points.
HP.
Good gracious. That is absurd.
Yeah. Goes faster than you think. Goes down faster. Let's see.
So you've got a Kanen Tracker just kind of hanging out there at that upper font. Well, if the power turns,
I'm gonna have to do a test hit.
Okay. So no Horrific Aura.
No aura.
Wow. 20.
But I'm not gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill this guy instead.
So there's the fear from the Whirlwind. Gonna slow that Gloombringer down a little. Wow, look at all the Nora, man. Good gracious. Kanen Alpha, Kanen Dark Runner. Now, where's your Dark Runner at?
The one I just deployed?
Uh-huh.
He's actually right next to my shrine.
Okay.
I'm gonna send him to Ninja that font if the game goes long enough.
But now, from this stage, you've pretty much already turned the tide on this one. I mean, it looks like it's heavily in your favor, if I'm calculating right.
Yeah, it's just about trying to predict that Terrific Aura, because honestly I never kept track of the cooldown, which was probably bad for my part. Either way, I mean, at this stage into the game, when the Kanen game is just developed, the corpses just start lining up.
They line them up.
I think we're about to see the Cape Runner soon, so I'm preparing for that. I got a tracker and a dark runner kind of patrolling the area. Um,
Wow.
so I do that and I get the font.
Man, that is
Kinda.
amazing.
Oh. So that was it.
Good Lord, man. That's like another 100 north.
I totally over. Just for looking at the other side of the map, I overlooked that he actually got my font.
Yep. We were looking at the wrong one, weren't we?
I mean, unless if he had an avatar, I'd be worried because then he would probably just transfigure. I would fortify if he had an avatar, just because he could transfigure, use resurgence, get Vortex back, and I know that it's a cave runner down there.
Right. Just firebomb your shrine. Holy cow. Incredible insight, man. It's amazing how far out and how quickly you can think.
It's just stuff you gotta memorize for these matchups, but in it, I also got that from playing Kane a lot. So I guess he's going to kill my Kane cultist, but she died efficiently. I think she carried her weight.
Yeah, I would imagine, and then it's going to leave that Gloombringer paralyzed.
I kind of wish goblins were stronger somehow. Just oh, now he's in that font down there. So I totally, it was a miscall from me. I thought he would go for my side font, but he just went for these down there. And speaking of fonts, my Dark Runner is gonna ninja the other one pretty soon. Wonder if I can kill the Spellkaiser. Let's see.
Well, D-Mister, we've almost seen every single rune in your battle group. That's what's amazing.
Yeah, all of them are good. They have their use. So really cohesive, which is one of the reasons why I like Kanen. Now it is important that you apply the Spark Curse first. Although I guess it's gonna be a tremendous overkill anyway, so it doesn't matter in this case, but it's just nice to remember to apply the curse again. And I think I'm going to... Oh, he just said GG, so I guess he's going to surrender.
There you go.
He really put up a fight, though.
Yes, sir. I mean, it was a great match, really. But Methuselah, I mean, you can tell by the number of games he's played. I mean, Methuselah is a very good player. So, man,
we could get Gab Ryan to play too.
Yeah,
he's ranked 18.
But well, D-Mister, man, thanks for showing us the battle group, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, no problem, and I hope I see a lot more Kenny now.
All right, we'll put it out there for you. So, all right, Pox community, hope you enjoyed this. We'll catch you guys next video.